You want to listen to a podcast?
By who?
Georgia GOP Congressman Doug Collins.
How is it?
The greatest thing I have ever heard in my whole life.
I could not believe my ears.
In this house, wherever the rules are disregarded, chaos and mob rule. It has been said today, where is bravery? I'll tell you where bravery is found and courage is found. It's found in this minority who has lived through the last year of nothing but rules being broken, people being put down, questions not being answered. And this majority say, be damned with anything else. We're going to impeach and do whatever we want to do. Why? Because we won an election. I guarantee you, one day you'll be back in the minority and it ain't gonna be that fun. Everybody, welcome back to the Doug Collins Podcast. Just a minute, I'm going to lay out. I know the last few days have been sort of crazy. So as we start this week, it's here on Monday, I wanted to give you just sort of a heads up of what's going to be going on, especially in dealing with Donald Trump and the issues that we have going on this week in regard to his indictment and into his, the whole just appearance of what's going to be going on here in Washington, and not only through Washington, but through New York, through Miami, through everywhere we're just going to go. So anyway, a lot coming up. We'll get to that in just a minute. But a quick statement. And I'm something over the weekend. Well, congratulations, number one, to LSU for winning the women's national championship. Big game tonight for the men's national championship. But one of the things I have noticed, and I don't know about you, maybe I'm just too old school. It seems that both teams, and I'm talking in general now. I know there's been a lot of criticism of the LSU player from yesterday. I know there's been criticism of the Iowa player from the other day, and I'm just going to speak in general for a moment before we get started in anything else. There is such a simple thing as sportsmanship. There is such a simple thing as playing hard, playing aggressive. Talk if you want to, but at a certain point in time, there is that level of the idea that sports and sportsmanship matter. I'm hopeful that will come back. I get it that they're in the moment. I get it that you're young. I get it that you're excited. But we're seeing it on the pro level. We're seeing it in the college level at the highest levels. And I'm telling you where we're seeing it even more is even down to the kids level. So, folks, remember, all I'll say is this for all of us out there. Just remember that people are watching. People know what we do and what we say and how we do it. And especially when it comes to athletes, you have such a great opportunity to do well, to make some fun, have some fun, laugh, cut up, even trash talk. I'm not taking the fun out. But remember, some of the things that you do, not will you see just in being criticized on Twitter. Would you really want to see your 8-year-old kid who actually looks up to you do that on their court? I don't think so. We just need to keep playing hard. Congratulations to LSU. Great job. Iowa, great job in yours. South Carolina, great deep runs. There was just runs all over this place with the weekend. But as we get closer to just remembering, baseball season started. We've talked about it. Remember, respect and sportsmanship still matter, at least on this show. And now let's get on to the show. Hey, everybody, you know about Legacy Precious Metals. Legacy Precious Metals, you hear from them. We talk once a month. We talk about Legacy Precious Metals, talking about precious metals being part of your portfolio, how they're your navigator. Well, now they're not only navigating in a new way, they're actually giving you a new way to buy gold and silver. In fact, Legacy Precious Metals has developed a revolutionary new online platform that allows you to invest in real gold and silver online. In a few easy steps, you can open an account online, select your metals of choice, and choose to have them stored in a vault or shipped to your door. I'm more of a ship to my door kind of person. I enjoy having them with me, but they can do it either way, and you can now do it online. It gives you real access to a dashboard where you can track your portfolio growth in real time, anytime. You'll see transparent pricing on each coin and bar. This puts you in complete control of your money. This platform is free to sign up for. Just visit legacypminvestments.com and open your account and see this new investing platform for yourself. Gold hedges against inflation and is against a volatile stock market. A true diversified portfolio isn't just more stocks and bonds, but a different asset class. This platform allows you to make investments in gold and silver, no matter how small or large, with just a few clicks. Remember, do as I have done. Go to legacypminvestments.com and get started today. And now you've got a new tool to help you along in your investments. Hey folks, MyPillow is excited to bring to you their biggest bedding sale ever. For a limited time, you're going to get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98, a set of pillowcases for only $9.98, and rejuvenate your bed with a MyPillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. $99.99. Get a mattress, pillow topper. Look, they come in all sizes. They got all kinds of stuff, blankets. They've got duvets. They've got quilts. They got comforters. They got body pillows. They got bolster pillows. They got all at big, big discounts. And also, they're extending their money-back guarantee for Christmas until March 1, 2023, making them the perfect gift for your friends, your family, and for everyone you know. Folks, and just from a personal note here, I have the Giza Dream Sheets. They're on my bed right now. I slept on them last night. Some of the best sheets that we and Lisa and I have ever owned. They are worth, I mean, at this price, they're a steal. My wife and I have bought bed sheets, linens at much higher cost. It's supposedly much higher quality. These from MyPillow are at the highest of quality, and at a price like this, you can't beat it. So go now to mypillow.com, use promo code Collins, COLLINS, or call 1-800-986-3994, and you'll get huge discounts on all the MyPillow bedding products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98, and get all your shopping done while qualities last. And remember, put in that promo code Collins for these discounts. All right. This is the week. We've been thinking about this, hearing about this for a long time now. It seems like forever in media terms, but it's been really about the last 2.5 weeks since the first of the supposedly Alvin Bragg grand jury secrecy began to show leaks. And when I mean leaks, we're talking sieves. Some of it's tended to be true. Some of it may not have turned out to be as true as was once reported. But we started hearing out things of who was going in, what was going on, what was seemingly the direction of the grand jury. Notice this is not something you're hearing in the other grand juries that are going on right now involving Donald Trump. The one in Georgia, the one in D.C., you hear about high-profile subpoenas. You hear about these issues going on, but you don't necessarily hear about the kind of leaks and the kind of politicization that is actually going on in the New York case. And I think that just sort of sums up what we're seeing with this case. So this morning, I just want to give you just sort of an update. Later on Monday, today, Donald Trump will be flying from from his home down in Mar-a-Lago, Florida. He'll be flying to New York. He'll spend the night at his home as well in New York at Trump Tower. All right, about mid-morning tomorrow, he'll go to the courthouse. He'll be fingerprinted. He'll have the indictment will be unsealed, and he'll give his plea, which will, of course, will be not guilty. As we're looking into this, so some things that I just want to point out about this case. I have not seen the indictment. No one supposedly has seen this indictment, but let's just take what has been from the supposedly secure grand jury that has been out there for a while. It looks like, at least on the basis, we're dealing with money that was paid by Donald Trump to at least one Stormy Daniels in regards to covering up an alleged affair. Now, there is some talk that there may be another hush money payment in there to another person in this regard as well. But again, that has not been confirmed. It was speculated because of the National Enquirer chairman who had to come to the grand jury on, I believe, 2 occasions in this time. So again, speculation is running rampant. The interesting thing about this case, let's remind everybody, is that this has already been looked at, especially in the Stormy Daniels case, is not a campaign contribution violation. Who said that? Not Doug Collins, not Donald Trump, not Republicans, not Democrats. But the FEC, the Federal Election Commission, said, look, they chose not to participate in this, chose not to go after it, saying it's not there. Department of Justice, U.S. Department of Justice, which would prosecute these federal election crimes. Guess what? They chose not to do it either. And believe me, in the last few years, in the politicization that we have seen in the Department of Justice and the cases that they have gone after, and especially out in regards to Donald Trump, it would appear to me that if there was an open and shut case of something that he had done, the Department of Justice would have probably took it up. They didn't. Now, let's move to Manhattan, where the Manhattan DA's office is dealing with this. This is Alvin Bragg. Alvin Bragg's predecessor, Cy Vance, did not prosecute this case. Even Alvin Bragg did not prosecute this case, take this case up further when he first came in. And now, like a zombie appearing again from the dead, this case has erupted. And here's the big problem that I think most, and this is not just conservatives or Republicans or anybody, this is where we've seen across the board, Democrats, Republicans, conservatives, liberals having issue with this case. Now, again, take out of the fact that it's unprecedented in the fact that you've indicted a former president and one who is actually running for president again. Let's take that aside. If you just want to set that aside, it's unprecedented in its history. which opens it up to a lot of political rhetoric, a lot of political discussion, a lot of political thought. Now, that wouldn't be just applying to this case in New York, but it also could be applying people will apply it to the other cases as well. However, in this case, especially with the history around these circumstances, unless something is in those indictments, something is in testimony that has not been seen or heard before, new evidence, if you would, the district attorney is going out into very uncharted territory. Doesn't mean, it's just politicization. He has politicized this. It has become in the words of Donald Trump, a witch hunt. It is just one in which people looking at it on the legal spectrum saying, why is this going forward? And I think this is the problem that we're looking at here. So first off, let me just say, tomorrow will be quick. It'll be in and out. The mugshot will become public record, and then you will see it all over the internet. You will see it all over merchandise. You will see it everywhere from both perspectives using this. All right. The plea will be not guilty, and then the real issues hit. And this is something I want to talk about, and beyond the headlines and beyond the protests, and everybody, look, this is going to be over with quickly tomorrow. You can, signal your support in many different ways, but definitely no violence, no, nothing that is wrong. Just, publicly support or publicly, whatever you want to do against Donald Trump. But that's why America is there. But it's for peaceful protests, nothing else. As you look at this, when it goes through tomorrow and he puts in his plea, and then the real work begins. Donald Trump's lawyers will then begin the process of what will be a motion practice, motions for this trial. You're going to see everything from motions to disqualify the DA, to disqualify the judge, to disqualify, evidence that was presented. You're going to see motions to a change of venue. We've already heard that even from Donald Trump. We've also heard it from others, even liberal constitutional scholars. I think Alan Dershowitz actually even said, there's no way that Donald Trump could get a fair trial in this area of Manhattan. So you're going to start seeing a lot of this. What does that mean? That means time. Okay, we've already seen this in the Atlanta case, in which the Trump attorneys filed a large motion on many different fronts against what was going on in the special grand jury, in which indictments have not been presented yet. And the judge put out a May 1st response deadline, which is over 6 weeks away. It just shows you that this does not move quickly. In the New York City criminal justice system, right now, cases are not moving very quickly, even if you were a former president. Now, could they do some things to move this case up? Yes. Will they? Probably not. This will drag on. One of the biggest criticisms that I have, and although I enjoy watching the shows, Law and Order, Criminal Minds, all of these shows, NCIS, they take in 1 hour and solve a major case. In other words, in Law and Order, you'll have a murder, and you'll have the detectives investigate it. All of a sudden, they find their evidence. Then they arrest somebody. And then 30 minutes later, they're in a trial, and either the person is convicted, which mostly happens in these shows, or something surprise twist happens and the person gets off. That's 1 hour. It's not reality, folks. I mean, you could literally be seeing 6 months, 9 months to a year before even the remote possibility of this thing coming to a trial. Now, will there be other things in between? Will there be hearings on motions? Will there be a lot of these different things before this judge beforehand? Yes, that'll all happen. And it depends on how the judge wants to handle it. He can handle them as they come up. He can bundle them together. There's certain ways, depending on time frames of submission, how these will be held. But I want you to understand, this is not going to be, Donald Trump's not going to trial today. Donald Trump's not going to jail today. For all the liberals out there who were just hyperventilating 2 weeks ago saying Donald Trump's going to jail tomorrow. No, he's not. In fact, by tomorrow evening, on Tuesday evening, he is supposed to be back in Mar-a-Lago. So as you look over this case, as you think about what's going on, the bigger questions are, especially this case as it's currently has been leaked. And I'm going to use that term. Has it currently been leaked out of this grand jury and the issues around it? We don't have the actual indictment. Alvin Bragg really did an interesting thing last week when he sort of went quiet. Everybody thought Donald Trump had said, they've been alerted that he was going to be that he was given the opportunity to testify about 3 weeks ago. everybody viewed that as, hey, the indictments probably are coming. You don't normally do that if indictments are not processed. Of course, Donald Trump was not going to testify to grand jury. The grand jury is the prosecutor's room. I've said this many times on many interviews over the last few weeks, and I'll say it again. You have to understand, the prosecutor has every advantage in the grand jury room. There's no defense cross-examination. There's no, exculpatory evidence. There's none of this. Now, the DA has to be aware of that. If he has exculpatory evidence that could actually free the person, then that should be taken into account before they even actually brought the case to the grand jury. Again, we're hearing a lot of people say that, this is, a problem. Well, it's going to be a problem for Bragg if he has evidence that says he shouldn't be prosecuting this case and he does it anyway. All of that has to come out in the criminal proceedings. That's where these lawyers will be getting into it. This is where the lawyers matter. And so as you look at this case building forward, the question comes back is, why is he bringing this case? Is he a distraction? Is there, I'm just going to bring up questions. Is there discussions between other grand juries that are going on, other DAs, other prosecutors, special prosecutors that are talking about these cases? Are they in some ways playing off of each other simply through the media, letting one go first, the other one watch? These are all questions I think that are legitimate in dealing with this, because again, even the most astute legal observer and even the most passive legal observer will notice this is probably the case that doesn't make the most sense, or is the weakest, as has been said by many that say, why is this case going forward? And if you look at that, it just feeds the narrative of what many of us have believed so far, that they just don't like Donald Trump. They find any way. Alvin Bragg ran on a platform that he would, get Donald Trump. Letitia James, also in New York, the Attorney General, would get Donald Trump. And it also, just shows the politicization of this case. The next thing I have about this case is, and this is just things that you need to think about, because again, this is not going to happen soon. In fact, after tomorrow, this case will probably die down a little bit. You're not going to hear as much about it, except for some motions being filed. But then the other question is why is the district attorney in Manhattan, whose city has seen an uptick in crime, even the mayor talks about it, even the people are saying on subways, you're seeing bodegas being robbed, you're seeing shops being closed, you're seeing all this happen, and this is also a DA who has taken felony crimes and reduced them to misdemeanors, not prosecuting some crimes altogether, and yet you're taking a misdemeanor and you're trying to file it up as a felony, attaching it to a federal charge that's never been charged, and then trying to extend the statute of limitations on it. Folks, it's no wonder, because this is really, when you look on it on the surface, it's simply an attack on getting Donald Trump. Bottom line, they don't like him. I've said, when did this start happening? Some will say the day he came down the escalator. I think it was the day in November when he won the presidency. Nobody thought he would. Everybody thought it was a coronation for Hillary Clinton. And guess what? It wasn't. Donald Trump actually spoke to real Americans. And he spoke to people who said, I'm tired of Clinton. I don't believe her anymore. I don't believe I don't want any more of Obama after 8 years. And that's what they were looking at. So as we look at this case, I just want to give you a quick update on that part of just look, it's going to happen. It's going to be a media circus for the next 48 hours. You'll see a lot of things going on. But what I don't want anybody to believe is, number one, Donald Trump's going to jail tomorrow. He's not going to go to jail tomorrow. He's going to have his fingerprints. He's going to be mugshot, and he's going to give his plea. That's what will happen. You'll see the mugshot on the internet. You'll see it on T-shirts. You'll see it on coffee mugs, I'm sure. But it's nothing else past that's going to happen. This case will begin the process of a long, long process. And think about this. If this case is probably going to be long and drawn out, imagine what would happen in any of these other cases, which are far more complicated, far more complex, far more nuanced in many ways of law. If you're going forward, again, Donald Trump's legal team is going to be very busy over the next little bit. But and as Donald Trump says, I'm innocent. I got nothing to hide. Well, that is the case. And looking at this forward, that's why these cases are now going to be made. But this New York case just reeks. It's again, on what we know currently, this is just seemingly a motivated local district attorney who has the power to indict Donald Trump. And guess what? He has. Before we go, let me also say something. In regard to my last, I was talking there at last when I thought this started, and that was when Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton. I will tell you this. Donald Trump many people did not believe he could win the presidency in 2016 and go on to be president. He did. And the way he did it was he related to people who felt like the government was not attentive to them, listening to them, and paid attention to everything else in the world. We have seen a lot of that in this government. I was in it in Congress during Donald Trump's presidency. I was in it during Obama's presidency. And what I saw was a continuation of Washington feeling like it had the right ideas, the right plan, the right motive. Just give your money, your time, and your thought, let Washington handle it, and everything else will be fine. Donald Trump broke that mold. He was willing to say, as I heard many people down here in Georgia say, he's willing to say things I was thinking about. He says things that I believe, the same things that people at your corner diner, your Waffle House, or wherever actually sit around and talk about, like, why is the government doing this? Why is the government messing in this? Why is our taxes the way they are? Why are they spending money this way? Why are we getting entangled in wars that last forever? Why are we limiting in the Biden administration, which has resurrected the WOTUS Act, the Waters of the USA Act, which actually says a creek bed, which is not even running at all times, is a navigable waterway? They don't understand this because it takes from them. And then you look at inflation, you look at everything else. Donald Trump spoke to average Americans. A billionaire from New York spoke to average Americans. When you ride around in South Georgia, you ride around in North Georgia, you go to Montana, you go to Arkansas, you go to anywhere, Oregon, even a place like California, you still see in remote areas, you see a Donald Trump from 2016 sign still up. Why? Because they felt like for the first time, somebody was thinking of them, even if it was a billionaire from New York. That's why these cases hit such a bad note with so many people. This is why, even if you don't like Donald Trump, this case is not what you want to see, because this case simply emboldens and solidifies the thought that there are two systems of justice here. Look, Hunter Biden lied on an application to get a gun. For you and me, that's a felony. For Hunter Biden, it's passed off. Hunter Biden actually has pictures posted doing drugs with prostitutes. Talks about other things. Again, you and I, at least an investigation, at least some sort of, raiding of the home, looking for other things. Hunter Biden, no. Hillary Clinton kept a secure server, not secure, in her own home. Willfully, a person who's been in government all of her life, an attorney. Hillary Clinton is not unintelligent. She's not dumb. She knows what she's doing. She didn't want to go through the protocols of security. For me, you, or anybody else in our military or in our FBI or our CIA or any of our intelligence communities, you do that, guess what? You're going to be charged. You'll probably lose your job. Not Hillary Clinton. James Comey said no reasonable prosecutor would prosecute this case. The Attorney General just turned a blind eye, let the director of the FBI make prosecutorial decisions, which he was not supposed to be doing. So when you look at this case, it boils down to more than just the case of Donald Trump versus the state of New York on this issue of did he pay money, which, by the way, to Stormy Daniels or others to keep them quiet about an alleged affair, which he denies. Now, early on, 3 or 4 weeks ago, NBC News actually had an article, and it said that the payment to Daniels is not illegal. Don't you think about that? When you think about the two systems of justice, even a liberal organization such as NBC, not a friend of conservatives, says that, look, paying them that is not a crime. And then you have a district attorney who then starts looking to try and find business records to take a business record falsity into a misdemeanor, attach it to a felony in which the federal government has not even prosecuted. Folks, do you wonder why the world's turned upside down right now? Is this just Monday? It's Doug Collins. Glad to have you with us. Hope this helps for the next 48 hours. We got more coming up this week on the podcast. We're going to have a U.S. attorney. We're going to have some others that are going to weigh in on all that is going on in our world. And of course, we got Friday's Finest with James, and you can't even imagine. Bud Light's lost its mind. There's just so many things to talk about on Friday's Finest. So this week got a great week ahead. We'll see you on the Doug Collins Podcast.